So much has happened.
Right. I was graduating high school 2010. Bye.
What's going on, everyone? You're watching Emeroy TV or the Move Groove Grow podcast. Today I have a special guest that we've been trying to schedule this for months. Like since last year, maybe October, earlier than that.
Sounds about right.
So something always happens.
LA, man.
Yeah, where she's either got a gig or I've got a gig. Yeah.
Busy life.
So this is a friend of mine, Meghan. We've danced on a couple things together, I think. Did we?
I don't think we've ever danced together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did with Funk Junkies.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Funk Junkies.
There you go. That one time we danced together. Yeah, but I've also I admire her work from afar as a dancer, as a pro, and I wanted to bring her on and kind of share her story, because I know a lot of you guys ask me about like the LA dance hustle. I get DMs about it. I get comments on it on YouTube, all this other stuff. So I can share you my perspective. I want to share Meghan's perspective because I think it's valuable for you guys to hear it from multiple sources that I bring on. So far, if you guys haven't seen the other podcast or listened to it, I've had Chris, I've had Vicky, who's a dance therapist. I've had Chris, who's currently doing In the Heights. So there's a lot of ways to go.
Oh, Chris Andrews?
Chris Marcos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a different Chris.
Got it.
So with that, I want to give Meghan some time to introduce herself, get a little bit of her origin story, what she does. Drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
Hard drugs.
So, yeah, take it away.
Okay, well, my name's Meghan Magoun. I have been dancing pretty much my entire life. I started taking it seriously probably 6 years ago now.
6 years ago.
Yeah, because I started off... my whole lineage of dance is I started with ballet because my mom was a professional ballerina.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that video of you.
Yeah, we always take ballet together. I love it.
So cool.
It's such a bonding thing, and I'm so appreciative that I get the chance to do that with my mom.
That's badass.
But she moved out here because she ruptured her Achilles tendon 3 times and had 5 kids.
3 times?
Yeah, she just kept going because she loved dancing so much. But then she decided she wanted to become a doctor. So then she got accepted to medical school out here. So we moved to California when I was like 4. My mom is amazing. Like, she's one of my top inspirations because she really showed that you can start over at any age. But
that's fucking cool.
We got out here.
I should be interviewing her instead.
Maybe. I'll just give her a call. I'll just bye.
I might actually follow you up on that, like part 2.
No, she would be a great person to talk to because she is hard work and dedication in a nutshell, for sure.
That's so fucking cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. Conversations with me kind of go like this. Like, they're like trees. You start with like a root conversation, and they kind of branch out, and then you come back.
Yeah, that's how it kind of goes with me as well. Yeah. That's kind of the format of this podcast.
Great. So we're already on the right track. Moved out here to California when I was 4, and she immediately put me into a ballet studio with people that she knew from San Antonio Ballet or something like that. And I loved it. There was a year where I quit because of certain things, and I came back and I hated it, actually, when I was like 11, 12, because, I was like, my body was changing. I've always been a little thicker, Mm-hmm. Ballet wasn't necessarily what I thought that I could do. I just loved it so much. Started doing jazz in high school. I joined my hip-hop dance team my senior year. I enjoyed it. And then I went to Cal State Long Beach for a dance degree. And I was doing ballet and modern, all of that there.
Did you ever join PAC Modern?
I did not. I always wanted to. I kept walking by them, practicing outside the pyramid, and I was like, that looks like so much fun.
You would have known a lot of my friends from there.
Well... You
probably already do,
Probably. I probably know them now, but back then I didn't. I was just, so focused on my degree, but I always wanted to be a part of the hip hop.
The competitive community.
Right, exactly, because I just always admire community's work ethic. That's work ethic insane. And dedication is something that I really pride myself on having, is a sick work ethic. And I feel like if I had joined community, my hip hop would be a little more up to par with what I want necessarily. But I will never diss the training that I have, because I'm so appreciative of having ballet and modern and jazz and all that kind of stuff, a solid foundation for myself, because I feel like I know my body pretty well. It's just taken me a while to get the feeling of hip hop. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really start taking hip hop seriously until I started taking classes out in LA one random summer vacation from college. I actually started at Edge. I took a Havoc's class.
Sick.
And I started really loving hip hop. And then it wasn't until I took G. Madison's class.
Ooh, G. Madison.
G. Madison.
Shouts out to you, G. Madison.
He's great.
Keep your shirt off forever, please.
Forever and ever. But no, I took his class, and that was the first time I felt inspired, like, yo, this is something that I could really pursue. And ever since then, I kind of got this fire of, like, wanting to pursue it as a career. Because before that, you know, I kind of thought of just getting my degree and then going back to my high school and teaching dance and all that kind of stuff. And that would have still been a really great life.
Yeah.
But being a part of this industry, there's been a love-hate relationship. But I can't imagine doing anything else. You know what I mean?
I feel you with that.
You have to really work and make the conscious effort to stay a part of this industry. You know what I mean?
That's a really good way of putting it, because with relationships, you always got to put in the work.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to always be roses and rainbows and all that shit. Like, it sucks sometimes. It really sucks. But if you love it enough, you'll have to sometimes change the way of your thinking or figure out different avenues to be a part of it still.
Yeah.
Without burning yourself out.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because the messages I get, I'm like, oh, how do I become a professional dancer? I'm like, wait, you got to define what that looks like?
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways to be a pro.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily, like, you're a professional dancer if you're dancing on cruise ships. You're a professional dancer if you're dancing behind J-Lo and Shakira in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's so many different avenues, and I feel like people stress themselves out and get to a point where they're just not happy anymore because they feel like there's only one definition of success in the dance industry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's something I learned the hard way.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, I have not achieved that kind of status, you know, dancing in a Super Bowl or anything like that, and I'm not closing the gate to that possibility, but I'm also learning to be happy with still doing what I love to do and making money, making a living out of it, no matter what the job is, because I'm still doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I think they people get too attached at what it looks like over, you know, at least it has to be this instead of being a flexible what it can be.
Right, exactly.
Because, I mean, it's also a hard truth that some people have to swallow, is like sometimes you're not gonna be a backup dancer.
Right.
And so that's the part where you got to be okay with. And I'm talking to you guys now. You've got to be okay with it, because it's fact is you might not have the look, because it's unfortunate. You know,
right.
That's what they're looking. The look is what they're looking for. Or for other things, you might not have the skill they have. But I think it comes back down to focusing on what you can control over what external goal you're trying to reach.
Right. And life is so crazy, because if you actually just learn to accept what is instead of just trying to force of what you want it to be, sometimes it turns out to be way more beautiful than you even could think of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it kind of forces you into your own path that is meant to be for your lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, some people aren't living in their purpose because they're trying to shove this idea into their life that is just not what it's meant to be.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, because the only reason why I'm saying this, like, I have an expertise in this, is because I did that for so long. Like, my goal was completely like, no, I'm going to be a backup dancer for, I just did like a reflex thing. But I'm going.
I'm keeping that.
All right, sounds good. But no, I was just like, no, I'm going to be a backup dancer for Usher. I'm going to be on So You Think You Dance. I'm going to, like, I just had all these goals. I'm like, this is what my life is, and I'm not going to stop until I do it. And I burnt myself out. Sure. There's been, in the past couple of years, I've had moments where I thought I hated dancing. That's not the case. I hated what I was trying to picture dancing to be now, instead of just remembering why I personally love to do it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So
Feel that.
I don't know where I was going with this statement, but we're here.
Yeah. We all face like some of our the down days or the moments of self doubt. This is one of my favorite questions I like asking is, what do you know? What's the self talk like on the days that are hard?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'll talk about how I've transitioned into the mentality I have now, because I feel like if I don't express how I used to think, what I think now isn't going to make a bigger impact. When I would get down, I would get down for weeks. And I would just always, because I suffer with like depression and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. I think being in LA, you tend to almost adapt that sometimes, like depression, all that kind of stuff.
I can see that, yeah.
But I would just constantly think it was something that I was doing wrong, something that I could do better, or, you know, if someone didn't see my worth, that was it. I had no worth. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And that's been one of my biggest struggles of trying to make it in this industry is fighting my beliefs of myself and my self-worth. And now it's gotten to the point where, yeah, things still hit me. I still get sad. I still get depressed that, you know, I didn't book that job, or that person didn't see my value. And for a split second, I start to question if I have the value or whatever. But then as soon as I remember all the things that I have gone through and the things that I've triumphed over, and just knowing that me being here on this earth has a purpose, it helps my self-worth. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this rejection is not meant to show you that you're not good enough. It's meant to show that you have something else that you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of you see this all the time on like Instagram with like those inspirational things. Like rejection just means redirection. You know?
Oh, that's the best way I've
so
that's a good way of putting it. I always just see it as failure as feedback.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so it's really, you can live in the emotion that you're having for that second, live it, feel it, digest it, and then move on. You know what I mean?
Some people just live in it,
and then
make it the reality.
Yeah, and then they kind of end up having this endless cycle, like, well, the world is doing this to me, so I'm going to keep putting out that energy, and it's going to keep cycling. And I learned that that's not what, because I used to do that. I used to do that a lot. And then it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like, shit would fuck up. Sorry if I'm not supposed to cuss, but,
no, you're good,
you know,
man.
Shit would fuck up because I had already put out that type of energy. I was always like, well, it's not going to come through anyway, so whatever. And then, yeah, it came through because the universe listens to everything that you're saying and thinking. Like,
it's like, all right, cool.
All right, if you think so.
Okay.
All right, that's how you want to live your life. Go for it.
Yeah.
But now I'm just being very grateful for all the things that I actually do have in my life. And that, to me, is the key to being happy. Because so many of us don't appreciate what we actually have, and we're always thinking about that person that doesn't like us, or the opportunities that we don't have, when there are people who are looking at our lives and looking at what we're doing and who we're with or whatever.
That hit me. Yeah.
And they wish that they could have what we have. You know, so like, just really appreciate what the fuck you do have. And
it comes back to being just gratitude. And it's like, it reminds me of that one meme, like that one, like the guy on the bicycle sees the guy in the Ferrari, the guy in the Ferrari sees the guy in the plane.
Right.
Yeah, and then you look at all of it, it's a guy in a wheelchair looking over the balcony, wishing he can just
Right. That's such a real thing.
Yeah,
that's such a real thing.
Yeah, like what you have, you know, someone is dying to have.
Right.
Like, I forgot where I got this DM. It was this one young lady. I know it's from the Midwest. I don't know which state, but she was talking to me, like, we were doing voice messages at that point, that she was going to take a leap, I think this year, to come just leave her family to come to LA to pursue her dance career. So I'm like, props. but I also I hope I gave her some reality of what to expect.
Yeah, because it's not gonna be all kitties and puppies and rainbows and shit.
Because I think one of the questions is it normal to work at restaurants while you're pursuing your career?
Absolutely.
Fuck yes.
Absolutely.
It's part of that hustle.
I have 3 jobs right now.
So it was.
And that is such an important thing to remember too, because so many people nowadays with social media and everything, they fake it till they make it, or they put up this facade of this life that they have, and nobody wants to give the reality hey, I work at a restaurant, I do housekeeping, I do this, that, just to make ends meet, but I'm doing it because I love dancing so much that I want to work this hard to stay in LA to pursue it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people just need to, I feel like people need to humble themselves a little bit and just be like, you know what? I'm working hard, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Because the fact is the path of an artist is just as chaotic as our process in creating.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It takes a while to for the moment inspiration to strike for some, or for some it might take a while for it to actually be at that level they want. But you just have to find a process that you're gonna love and be okay with. Because if you hate your process, then I think you should be doing something else.
Right.
Because, it's accepting the fact that you're going to be eating shit for a while.
Yeah.
And in the process, if you keep putting yourself out there and making time for yourself, not just to take care of yourself, but to focus on to improve your craft and to also network, because that's the faster way to get booked.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Yeah, these are just tidbits, but focus on your process.
And there isn't one route of success. Everyone's journey is such an individual thing. There's people that train so hard and make it so you just have to be undeniable, so people will put in that work. They'll network with whoever they need to network. They'll push themselves to the front of auditions. There's that type of route. There's also just making genuine connections with people because they'll remember you on a personal level too. That's kind of the route that I like, because I'm not very look at me at auditions. So sometimes auditions aren't the best way for me to get booked. So I really just make a point of genuinely connecting with people.
Yeah,
Hold for siren.
Okay.
Right, great.
Look at you, pro on set.
Got you. And even if you have other talents that aren't necessarily dance, those talents could still somehow manage to get you back to a dance job or something like that. For example, I don't have an example per se for me right now, but I love to bake, right? So my goals now, I started up a baking show called Megan's Menu, if you want to check it out.
Ooh, it's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. I have an Instagram, Megan's.menu.
Sick.
But, with that, I love to bake, and I want to share that with people. I also want to share advice that I have lived through, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's basically kind of just that. And then eventually I'm going to want to bring on people. So people that I've networked with, I can connect on a deeper level and bring them on. And then you never know where that can lead you.
Podcast.
Exactly. Exactly. So you never know where that's going to lead you. And, for example, I might end up, because we did this and we have this connection of doing this now, if someone needed someone just like you, instantly, you would be in my brain. Networking is such an important thing.
That's
and
so true.
Doing it in such a genuine way is also important too.
Yeah, and genuine is being important, because if you try to connect with an ulterior motive, people
can sniff that out.
Yes, from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So and then bouncing off what her says, I do video, and everyone in LA fucking knows how to do video. But if you have that extra skill, or even graphic design, or hell, being an illustrator, you can do something to help to collaborate with other artists or other dancers. Because I want to try to expand it outside of just dancing, but as in regards to following your passion, so to speak. Okay, so speaking of passion, I got 2 questions yesterday. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, yesterday, because I do a live Q&A Sunday.
Okay.
I got 2 questions on their 30. Okay, no, first one is, they're 30, they don't know what their passion is. What should they do?
Explore. Like, get out of your comfort zone. Go take a cooking class. Go take a pottery class. Go, like, just, that's literally all I can say is explore. And then eventually you're going to find something and you're like, wow, I actually forgot about all of my stress for a couple seconds. Like, you'll find it. You just have to get out of your comfort zone and go try some shit.
Yeah, that's what my friend, and I've always told you guys, it's what is considered the discovery zone. So I'm glad she's saying it, because I've said it so many goddamn times. So I'm just
giving you the stamp of approval now.
Yeah, pretty much just confirms what I've been sharing with you guys. So the other question is, what are some practical tips? Wait, how old are you?
I'm 27.
You're 27? Mm-hmm. Okay, so made me feel older. Okay, what are some of your practical tips for people under 20?
Under 20?
Yeah.
Stretch. God dang. No.
Start eating right.
Start, like,
fuck you up by 25.
I'm so serious about that, though. Like, take care of your body at a young age and make it a habit, because when you get to be like 25, 26, you start feeling it in your joints, in your body,
my
like
back,
and
knees.
it's hard to break habits when you've trained it for 25 years, you know what I mean? So yeah, start those habits at an early age. Just always remember to be an open vessel, be a sponge, soak in as many lessons as you can, but also remember on working on yourself and your self-worth, so that you can decipher which lessons are going to be good and which ones are just going to derail you too.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because not all lessons are lessons that you need to keep.
Right, exactly. And then there's some lessons that I've gone through for way too long because I didn't value myself, and even though I saw it wasn't the best situation for me, I would still be in it because I didn't raise myself, or there's a lot of things, childhood stuff, but I didn't have a lot of self-worth by the time I got to my 20s. So there's a lot of unnecessary situations I put myself in. So really just build yourself up to have a good self-esteem and know that you don't have to put yourself through a lot of shit that people are going to try to force on you.
Ooh, yeah. I guess like that really just owning your voice and your boundaries.
Boundaries.
People are going to try to push that again and again and again. And even for me, with some of my clients, they try to ask for things outside of the scope of work we agreed to. And I get anxious because I have to say no, and I feel like, are they going to fire us?
But then those aren't the people that you want to be working with.
But then, yeah, but but I want the money.
Right. But the money will come.
But when we, it's so that's where, like, for me, when I face those moments, that's my opportunity to practice drawing the line. It's when you're feeling uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, obviously, you never want to find yourself in those situations, but more than likely, we do find ourselves in moments of conflict, moments where we're triggered. That's where the practice of who we want to become really matters, because if we don't, then we continue to the cycle of our old, mindset.
Right.
Even though it's going to be hard the first time around, because it's so new. It's like learning your first 8 count for any routine.
Right.
It feels awkward, and just getting through it is a win in itself, because now your brain is like, oh, there's a new way. Now you can create more, more neurological pathways to make it more of a natural thing.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'm going on a tangent here.
I love it.
But
let's go.
Like what I took a long time to do, in my opinion, is like getting the practical use of I statements and active listening, which is I heard you say this, or like I feel hurt when you insulted me in front of my friends. I would appreciate it if you don't do that again. That's like a very and applying this is like in my previous relationship, it worked like fast, like 2-3 day arguments was like boom.
Nice.
It's a super effective way. It feels robotic because it's a formula, but it's a very concise way of taking responsibility of your emotions, and then asking what the person is, and you're not placing blame. Like, oh yeah, you fucking
Right. Taking
pissed me off.
responsibility. I
Yeah.
love that.
So, and then circling back to like the use of it, it took me. I still feel like it's a process of like 5 years to start feeling natural into it, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to find myself in conflict every day.
True.
But it's like there's other.
But when it
like,
arises,
yeah.
yeah.
So like I guess to add to that, like there's other ways, probably small ways, in every single day. Maybe not a conflict, but how can you do it for yourself? Like, say Meg is just like venting and like telling me about her day. I can practice empathy by saying, "Oh, I heard that, you had a really rough, I don't know, rehearsal or audition. That sucks, but I'm here for you, and I still think you're an amazing friend." That kind of stuff, like, because you're
Right.
here, you hear them. People want to be heard.
Yeah.
That's active listening right there. And then for you, driving your boundaries, say you might not want to go to a party, or you might not want to go out with a friend, and that's where but you often feel like you have to because of the pressure. It's
Right.
like that's an opportunity for you to do it. Like, I don't feel like going out today because I just want to lounge.
Right.
Yeah, or you can be blunt, it's like, nah, I don't want to go. It's
Yeah.
one way. But people are people. They're going to take it the wrong way.
Right.
Some will.
That's a
but-
lesson that I'm actually in the middle of learning right now is not trying to fill these obligations, because the truth of the matter is all these people that you're not going to hang out with, they'll be fine. They're going to be alive. Like,
Yeah.
you coming out of your bed, out of your whatever you need to get done for yourself, it's
Yeah.
not going to kill them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if they're really your friend, they will understand that you need that mental health day or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, there's rain checks there. I mean, I feel like LA is kind of the city of, oh, rain check, rain check, rain check.
Because everyone's busy. in a
Everyone's
sense.
so busy,
Yeah.
but it also gets so tiring when you're that person that constantly goes out of your way for other people. And then as soon as you make that shift of taking care of yourself first so that you could be beneficial to other people, once you make that mental shift, you realize what other people's intentions with you are, and the real ones really come through.
Yeah. So did you feel obligated to come here?
No. I've been wanting to come here, like legit been wanting to come, but
Yeah, I'm glad it finally worked out.
yeah,
Just having deep conversations.
Right.
Yeah, so I love doing this. It's like an opportunity to go deep
Go
in
deep,
conversation
yeah.
without like going to small talk.
man, I'm so bad at small. I'm awkward. I'm so awkward at parties or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not good at small talk. I'm just really not. And then I feel like once I actually start having conversations like this with people, I feel like people start backing away from it. I'm like, oh wait, I feel like I'm being the weirdo now, but no, I'm just expressing what I really feel and think. And not everyone always wants to express what they actually think.
Do you go to parties often?
I go through phases of it. Sometimes like I'll have a phase where I'm going to a party like every weekend, and then majority of the time I love staying home. I'm such
yeah.
a homebody.
Sometimes I have that urge to be out just for the energy.
Right, yeah.
Like,
but I don't really want to interact.
Yeah,
I just
like,
want to be there.
That something about like a crowd. Like before I would think it was like at a party, but I think it's like I'm starting to realize like maybe I just need to be at jams or a session. Where it
yeah.
There's that energy of there's people there. I don't necessarily have to interact. I can do my own thing.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta find your crowd.
Yeah. So you're a homebody?
I'm such a homebody.
Sick. What do you do when you're just chilling at home?
You know, I'm so boring because I don't even have a TV in my room. So
Wow.
yeah,
Just sit and meditate for hours.
I really I've started meditating. Like I do like guided meditations on yoga, on YouTube yoga,
Sick.
whatever. I've started reading. The current book that I'm reading is what's it called? It's something about pain, trauma, body. Hold on, the body. Oh my God!
Whatever it is, we're
gonna cut this real quick because why can't I remember the name of this book? But it's basically a body stores trauma. No, fuck. Why don't I remember it? Anyway, it's basically about healing trauma because trauma gets stored in your body, And so,
we were just talking about this on my
the body
dance.
keeps score. Thank you, Jesus.
We were just literally just talking about this in a podcast I did with a dance therapist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So keep going.
Yeah. And so it's kind of learning how to learn your triggers in your body, because if you don't heal it in your body, then you're just going to be constantly living in that trauma instead of actually healing from it and letting it go. So that's what the book I'm reading is right now. So
that's a good book.
Yeah.
I'm rereading 48 Laws of Power.
Nice. I never read that one.
It's
rereading it, so.
Yeah, I read it like back in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting now because I've learned like a different type of, when you learn, I guess, a certain aspect of awareness or spirituality, a lot of this book seems manipulative. Mm-hmm. So, and for me, I because there's certain things like never outshine the master, things like that. Say less than needed. So I've been figuring out, where does this 48 Laws of Power really play in context to, of like what game does it fit into, versus like versus applying it to everyday life to your friends.
Right. Yeah.
You
need to find the balance.
So yeah, and then because I definitely learned the whole. There was an experience earlier last year with someone that worked with me. That went against quote unquote law 1, never outshine the master. So they tried to like overstep boundaries. They got parted ways, so to speak.
Yeah, it tends to happen.
So yeah, it's a good book. It has really a lot of good stories on how these laws are applied, and it's crazy, and gives you an in-depth look of like how, I guess, people can potentially play into the palm of your hands, and why it can feel manipulative. So that's why context and the use of it is very, like, I think you have to take into consideration of that. Otherwise, you become a manipulative motherfucker that isolates themselves.
Right. So, yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, it's a good book. A lot of rappers have read it, and I've read it because it helped me with my it was one of the early books with my personal development journey.
Okay.
When I was
I'll check it out.
So it's good. And it helps with, if anything, it helps with the work environment, especially when there's a lot of politics and trying to climb up the corporate ladder or whatever, because there's always going to be people trying to play. As humans, we have there's a whole social dynamics game, and depending on which social circle you're in is going to depend on the kind of game you play or character you are. And it's, I hate to say that it's a game or all this stuff, but it's, humans are going to act the way they are, especially depending who they're with. I act differently with my clients, or you would act differently with your work group versus your family versus your high school friends.
Very true.
So understanding context, you would apply these certain laws. Nerding out there.
I love it though. I'm listening. I'm absorbing it.
So, okay. So, do you do New Year's resolutions?
I kind of do. In past years, I've had very specific goals, like I want to lose X amount of pounds, or I want to, whatever. But this year, it was really just kind of focusing on a whole mental shift as opposed to small, minute things, because a resolution to me is something that you're going to be working on all year long.
Yeah.
So it's something that you have to continuously chip away at or continuously practice instead of just having one specific goal that, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like life doesn't go according to your plan. So that's why I chose to do a mental thing instead of I want this specific goal. Because I feel like once I change my mentality, the opportunities that are meant for me are going to come to me as long as I'm working hard as well. Because there's some people that are just like, the universe will bring me opportunities, and then they won't put in the work.
Yeah.
And that drives me crazy because, of course, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not actually putting in the energy that you need to receive it back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's just where I'm at with New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, it's like I feel like people set the goal without really realizing the amount of work that they have to do to get there.
People want instant gratification, so they'll give up on that goal if they don't see it within a couple weeks. You know what I mean?
You know what I love when I'm talking to my mom, when she talks about her goals, she talks about, in 5 years we'll get this. I'm like, holy shit.
That's a long time.
Like 5 years?
Right.
And like in my head, I'm like, can we do it in like 3 months?
Right, exactly.
So it's so crazy, like how maybe it's a generational thing. Like, well, it is a generational thing, but maybe it's like an age thing. Because like I'm 32, like I still feel like I'm 18, though my body says differently. But
Right.
but I still feel like there's a certain speed I want.
Yeah.
But definitely the conversations with older entrepreneurs that I've talked to is like you're gonna have time either way.
Yeah.
Be fast on your daily stuff. Like, get these client emails to handle that fast. But with your big goals, that's going to take time.
Yeah, and people just get way too hard on themselves when they don't reach this certain goal in this specific time frame. Because, like I said, life doesn't go according to your plan.
Dude, you're, like, preaching right now.
Yeah, just because I know how that is. Like, I've set very specific goals for myself, and when I don't reach them, I feel like a failure. And you're really never failing at life. The only way you're failing, I think I've heard Will Smith say that. I've heard a bunch of people say the only way you're failing is if you're not trying, or if you're not,
you're stuck.
If you're just stuck and you're not doing anything about it, that's how you're failing. But as long as you're making a conscious effort to be better than you were yesterday, I think you're doing all right in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Progress is progress.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how small. An inch is progress.
I actually have a favorite quote because I read this quote when I was in the hospital because I have Crohn's disease. I had pulmonary embolisms. I was in the hospital for a few months on and off. But when I would get really down, and because I wasn't in these dance classes, and I was like 21 at the time, so I was like really feeling like
missing out.
I was missing out, and I read this Martin Luther King quote, and it says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Whatever you do, just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's literally been my mantra ever since I've been 21, and that is the realest thing that I could say. Is anything you could do, any little dent that you can make on a daily basis, it's going to help you in the long run wherever your life is meant to go. That's
real. Yeah. Fuck. I was doing this with my team like a couple of weeks ago when we have our team meetings. Because it's like 2020. What do you kind of envision happening for yourself in the next decade? Not exactly a goal,
next decade.
Wow.
Wow.
What's your vision? Like, or what are the possibilities?
All right, the decade.
Because I take a look back like where I was 2010, and now so much has happened.
Right. I was graduating high school 2010. Bye. But yeah, no, a lot of shit happens in 10 years.
What the fuck? I need to have an age limit of you have to at least graduate the year 2003.
Oh, I'm glad I made the cutoff before you made that rule. But the next 10 years, I'll be quite honest. I'm still gonna be dancing. I'll probably be a dancer for the rest of my mom is in her 60s. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's so fucking cool, man.
Right, and my mom takes more ballet classes than I do.
She's like my hero now.
Yeah, she's my hero. She literally takes at least 4 ballet classes a week.
So like this is for you people who think you're too old to dance.
No, absolutely not. My mom can out-beast me at ballet, right? I have not been putting in the work to be a beast at ballet anymore because my brain has been focused on other things, but my mom, she's fantastic. But where was I going? Oh, decade, 10 years. I'll still be dancing. I think my mentality is kind of shifting more towards acting at the moment.
Oh yeah, I've seen you do some stunt stuff too.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy doing stunt stuff. I have to really like dive into it though because, I'll play here and there, but I haven't really gotten into the focus that I need to make it a career, which has been a thing for dancing as well because, I'll rely on these part-time jobs. Even though trust me, I have trained in dancing. Like I can say that because I've put in the hours of work. Like I did the Debbie Reynolds scholarship program, and this is back when I didn't have a car. I was living in Westwood. I had a job at Coffee Bean, and I had to work at like 5 a.m, and like I would get an hour of sleep for 6 months. Like I've put in work as a dancer.
That's some real shit right there too.
That's the kind of shit that you need to get to a level of excellence that you want to get to, and then
the equivalent of a bachelor's degree, or even like. We don't get degrees. We just have accumulated a bunch of hours for ourselves.
Exactly, because it takes certain amount of hours to become a master at something, right? I don't remember what
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours to become a master at something, which is why a lot of times when people say master class nowadays, like, you gotta kind of research the people and see like what they're a master of. You know what I mean?
Did you like dance? Like, are you like a popper for this many years, or
right?
You did some backup dancing, or
right,
like,
exactly.
not just because you choreographed. And
yeah, because I'm a firm believer of putting in the work, and so I need to put in the work towards doing stunts and acting. Getting back to what the conversation actually was. And going into acting classes and putting as much work as I have put in for dance as I want to in this new career venture of mine, you know?
Yeah.
So acting is definitely where I'm wanting to head towards. In the decade, though, I mean, you know, personally, I would like to have a family and do all that kind of stuff, as well as have my career as well. So that's a very tricky balance with relationships and entertainment industry.
You know, it's funny. I don't know. I don't think I sent it to you, but one of the questions that me and Liz got asked was, this husband was embarrassed of his wife being a dancer.
I actually listened to that part of it, yeah. Which,
you did?
Shout out to Lizelle. I love you so much.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, fuck you, Lizelle. Love you.
She's the greatest. I love her.
Hashtag best friend sometimes. That's going to be our tattoo, apparently. Best friend
Cute.
sometimes. So, yeah, we...
Embarrassed. Yeah, he was embarrassed of his wife that wanted
being,
to be a dancer,
and
right?
he wanted to try to tell her to change her career. And we were like, wow, the audacity.
Right. You don't really love her then. You know what I mean? You love the idea of her. Because if that's what she wants to do and that's like what her soul is saying,
yeah,
then that's her. Like, you can't, like, trust me, I've made my mistakes in relationships, and I've wanted to change people because I saw what they could be or whatever the case may be. But the reality is those relationships were never going to work because they weren't what I picture my partner to be like. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with how they are as people. Well, I mean, they could be kind of assholes. Like, they need to do their inner work.
I think everyone can be.
Right. They need to do their inner work. But how they want to live their life, it's not wrong. It just doesn't line up with what you want, and that's fine. You just have to either choose to deal with it and change how you see the situation, because you can't control another human being.
No.
So if she wants to do her dance career, then be that proud, supportive husband or boyfriend or whatever, and just, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, support.
Yeah. I mean, that's love right there. You can't force change on another person.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't know, it's... I answered this already. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is watch the video. Links in the description on either Spotify or anywhere. You can listen to it there, and you can also follow Meghan as well on her Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
I am not on TikTok. I opened one. I have not uploaded a single video.
How are you feeling with the, I guess, social media?
I can't keep up.
Like,
I can't keep up. I don't have the energy to keep up with another social media.
Your account is killing it, though.
I mean, Instagram, I've had an Instagram for at least 7-8 years, and, you know, I've put in a lot of work towards building an Instagram. Social media is just such a heavy topic because I don't really care about social media, but in the industry that we're in, we have to care about it.
Especially since follower count is a thing now for auditions.
It is, and I am blessed that I have a K in my, but like...
You have a what?
I have a K in my followers.
How many?
I don't even know. It's whatever. It doesn't even matter. But it has given me certain opportunities, which I don't necessarily think is right that I get things based on that.
Popularity
right. I think it should be based on who actually has the talent, who has put in the work, who, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a whole thing with social media, but I'm also so not about people putting on facades too.
Yeah.
And I've actually, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that, you know, in my story, I'll always talk about certain things I'm going through in my life. And, you know, there's those people that are really supportive and they're like, wow, I really needed to hear this today. And thank you for sharing that and all that. And those are the people that I'm reaching out to. But there are those people that are like, you really shouldn't be putting your business out there, yada, yada. Like, people don't want to see you struggle, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You aren't my target audience. Like, I don't care to put on this fake show that, oh, everything is great, everything's fine, because everybody fucking struggles. Everybody. And that's even more isolating to everybody in the world if you put on this facade.
Because then they can't connect with you.
They can't connect with you, and then they feel like...
Perfect.
Right, and then they start judging themselves harshly because... of all these perfect people online. Like, even the people that you think have this perfect beauty, you're like, oh, I can never be as pretty as them. They've probably gotten some work done. It's not like it's completely natural. And that's why I just personally put my business, I don't put all of my business out there, but I put my struggle out there because
you're not afraid to be real.
Right, exactly. Because if I do make it in whatever category it is that I'm meant to make it in, I want people to say, like, oh, wow, I remember when she was crying on her way to Coffee Bean. I hated that job because it was on Hollywood Boulevard. I just did not like working on Hollywood Boulevard because I worked at Coffee Bean, then I worked at Hooters. Oh. That was a long period of my life. But I want people to see, like, oh, wow, she put in the hard work and dedication, and if she can go from that to where she's at now, then I can do it too. And that's the whole purpose of me putting out what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, this is like one of the reasons why I vlog so much. I don't know if you see me half the time carrying a camera.
Yeah.
So it's like I document the journey. Not all the footage is going to be used, but like there's going to be moments where I don't know, because I literally have footage of my first meeting with my business partners.
Wow.
August 2016.
Wow.
And then where I'm at now, this is fucking 4 years later.
That's so cool to see.
So just like, because to eventually share that with my son to see, like, for me when I film, because I want him to see that, this is how it was for me. Like when I was 30, I was trying to do this.
Right.
It was hard. And then I like that you're so authentic and that you're real. Were you really crying on one of your stories? Like, they were tearing up?
No, I would cry by myself in my car, but then whatever I was feeling or whatever, I would get myself together and I would express what it was I was feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
I love that.
I actually cried on one of my Instagram stories like a month ago because something hit me so hard and it was like one of my biggest triggers. And like I just said what I needed to say, but then I realized, like, okay, let me take that off and let me reword it and take a little less emotion out of it so that people could actually learn what it is I'm saying, because then, you know, some people just don't take emotions too well.
Yeah, it's emotional. Yeah.
So sometimes you have to like regroup yourself and take control of your own emotions so that you can better express what message it is you're trying to relay. You know?
Are a stoic. You know.
He told me that I was stoic.
Well, okay. I explained this. If you guys haven't seen any of my other videos, I love Stoicism. It's a form of philosophy. Mm-hmm. Stoicism, people think Stoic is like you're unemotional, you're detached. That's what people think. But Stoicism, in its real form, is the focus of oneself, the conquering of oneself, focusing on what you can control.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And like my favorite metaphor of it is because like I like it to like Zen Buddhism, and they both have very similar philosophies. But the way I was taught was like where the Zen Buddhist is out in the mountains, that's easy to calm there. The Stoic is in the marketplace, in the middle of chaos, but calm.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever done retreats or anything like that, but everyone's all happy at a retreat or a getaway. They come back to the real world. It's like a barrage of chaos.
Yeah.
And the Stoic.
And some people don't know how to handle that. And like Stoics they implement what it is that they've taken, the lessons that they've had on their downtime, and applying it to, right? Yeah.
It's like really just, it's all about like the main goal of a lot of Stoics or Stoic philosophy is to be ultimately a good human being.
I love that.
And then that's it. You don't have to, it's not about like following your passion. In fact, a lot of Stoic, like there's some philosophy in Stoics and Stoicism that I'm not 100% with, such as like following your passions, but this is like old ancients, I'm going on a tangent, but
I'm actually really interested in this, so please go on this tangent.
But yeah, because they try to, when they say passions, I think they mean letting your emotions get the best of you. But yeah, and one of the things I love about Stoicism is the practicality. Like my favorite metaphor is like say my boat will make it to the island unless it sinks. It's like I'll get to the goal unless something happens. Like they are aware of goals, but they are also aware shit happens. There's I think there's an exercise they do. I forgot what it was called because it was in Latin, but in modern day it's called fear setting, where you have your goal or whatever it is you're anxious about. You write down every single worst case scenario that'll happen to you. I don't know. I'll lose my job. I'll be homeless. I don't know. What do you call it? Lose my relationship, whatever it is, and then, or lose a friend, whatever. And then from each worst case scenario, you write a way to recover from it. Because then because then you conquer your fear, and then there's no reason to be afraid.
Right.
So then it comes back to what can you control right now. I mean, albeit you can't predict the future.
Yeah.
But it does give you a kind of sense of security that you took control of the situation of what you're fearing, and you allowed yourself to discover a way to recover from what you're afraid of.
Right.
So like Stoicism is very practical.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read more about that because that sounds pretty accurate.
I'm not converting everyone to be a Stoic.
No, I love it because what you said about they genuinely just focus on being a good person.
Yeah.
That that spoke to my soul.
That's
because
like the main thing.
I don't understand how. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be human beings anymore because they're so focused on
getting theirs.
Getting theirs, right? And that's not my philosophy in life at all. And I'm actually, if you're a good person and you do good for others, I 1,000% believe it comes back to you tenfold. Like, not even like if you're, because I don't think about like, oh well, if I do this, then I will get this in return or whatever. No, like, because you're probably not even gonna get it back from the people that you're helping. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna come back to you in a way that you never expected. So, just. I feel like it what goes around comes around is such a true thing, because if you're putting out like love and all that kind of stuff, you're not gonna, and if you give yourself love too, it has to be like full circle. I just hit the mic. I don't know if that's gonna affect the sound.
You'll be fine.
Okay, great. I feel like you won't have all the negative things that, let me rephrase this. Back when I didn't have very much self-worth, I tended to attract those who saw I didn't have self-worth, and they kind of take advantage of that.
Okay.
When I started building my self-worth, and I just came from a place of love, and I just wanted to, all my actions were based on my love for others or wanting to share love with the world. I don't have a lot of those negative people and negative things in my life that bring me down either. You know what I mean?
You kind of, it just became a filter.
Yeah, it became a major filter, because the people that didn't appreciate or value kind of dropped by the wayside. Not even in a drastic way sometimes. Sometimes they just kind of fizzle out of your life. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I feel like if you focus more on the people that don't want you or the people that treat you badly, then you're going to continue to only see those people. But if you appreciate the people that love you, that support you, you're going to continue to cultivate more and more of those people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know, you saying that just reminded me of one of my kind of Stoic sayings I just remembered. Is like how often do we like overvalue ourselves in the way we look and appear, but we overvalue other people's opinions. Like we value ourselves. But then when we hear other opinions, it kind of like, it takes over our self-worth for many.
Yeah.
So speaking of books, 3 Stoicism books I think you would like.
Okay.
One's The Obstacle is the Way.
The Obstacle's the Way.
The next is Ego is the Enemy.
Ego is the Enemy. Okay.
And the last one is The Daily Stoic.
The Daily Stoic.
I listen to the Daily Stoic as an audiobook. It's pretty much almost like a verse every day.
Nice.
And then a practical use
of it. I love
of
books like that.
So the Daily Stoic is like, okay, for June, here's a saying, and then that's what I listened to today.
Okay.
Because it helps with grounding and like very much what I like adapted from Zen Buddhism. Zen meditation is like we're going to be face a lot of ups and highs, but ups and downs, but they are very focused on like trying to not be too high or low, just to be focused, because if you allow yourselves to be dragged along with those emotions, you'll be overly euphoric or you'll be overly down. That's why focusing on being even keel allows you to focus on the next step, even though half these Stoic philosophers, they even admit it themselves, like they fucking fuck up a lot.
Yeah. But that's all human beings.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go through those life experiences to get to the point where you can be calm and reserved, because if you don't go through those trials, then how will you know that you've mastered that technique, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
I fucking love
rom-coms are great. Have you seen Someone Great on Netflix?
No.
Great. Someone Great. It has Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin.
Oh yeah, my friend recommended this to me.
So good. Like, I've seen that movie probably 10 times, and I try to get someone new to watch it with me every time because it's such a good movie.
You're trying to convert people to watch a movie.
I am.
There's this one movie I watched. Oh fuck.
They're the greatest. I love me some rom-coms.
Yo, dude, it's like
I want to be in a rom-com one day.
like an actress in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
One of my goals.
Dang. I'll be crying like fucking bitch, Megan. She was on my podcast watching the link description. I will cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite rom-com?
Well, my favorite, I guess, romance, or I guess mine's A Walk to Remember.
Oh, that's such a
It's a good movie. I like that way over, what the fuck, The Notebook, because The Notebook was, well, to me, deemed like practically much like domestic violence and overpowering and using, forcing the issue.
When you come from it from a different perspective, it is a bit of a toxic
Storyline.
storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First thing he does, he threatens his life if he doesn't go out with her.
That's true. That is
very romantic. Put it in that context. It's like in the romantic context. Cool, great for movies. Real life, that's scary as shit.
That is absolute. Man, I can't even tell you. That's a whole other episode talking about relationships. Toxic. I could do a whole hour. I could do a whole other hour and a half on that shit.
We might have to do like a part 2.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
So, so like I liked A Walk to Remember because he was inspired to change himself. Like
I like that. Yeah.
He became better, and the
and
impact
she didn't
of one
force him
person.
to.
Yeah. She didn't, and that's the thing.
She was just herself.
Yeah, and the impact of how one person like being genuine, of being themselves, kind of brought that person to a higher frequency and wanting to become better themselves.
I like that.
Fuck, I love that movie. Fuck it. I was gonna watch
that makes me want to watch it now.
Because I wanted to watch this movie back in 2003 when I was like 16. I was gonna watch it by myself.
Right.
Because I was that determined, and I'm a fan of Mandy Moore. But
she a cutie.
So, that was kind of like that's my favorite. Because the transformation of the character development.
I love that, and I love the reason for it too.
Because, people, I don't know. I feel like relationships, and we might as well dive into it a little bit.
Right.
Like relationships with others, we should be helping lift each other up instead of like holding each other back from their potential.
Right.
And albeit there's like the whole like fun stuff in the beginning. It's easy to do that when all your hormones are just crazy at that point. But when
you're in
it's like
lust.
Yeah, when 2-3 years down the line and all the hormones are gone, it's what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you continue contributing to this relationship, or how do you continue growing as a person? Because one thing I've adapted over the years is like I hate the idea of the other half.
Yeah.
Is because that insinuates that you are not whole to begin with.
True.
So when it should be like one whole person, 1 + 1 makes 3. Like one whole person, one whole relationship creates the being of it. So that's why I love. Like that's what I think of it. I forgot where I was going with this, but
okay, we're here.
But yeah, that's what I think in terms of how relationships should be in terms of inspiring each other to grow, and that's kind of
right.
Like, albeit it's not a fucking fairy tale.
It's never gonna be a fairy tale. This is real life. It's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be painful. It's just really like you said, you have to be a solid individual on your own. They have to be a solid individual on their own. Because I've had issues in the past of codependency. We were talking about this before we started filming, too.
Yeah.
And
that was like you're pro at this.
I was, yeah.
No, if I was talking about the filming.
Oh, okay. I was
you're
like,
a pro at codependency.
I mean, I was, but I'm trying to get out of that job. But yeah, and even how I deal with men in general now, like as far as like the dating scene, is so much more different than how I used to when I had my codependent issues. And
dating scene.
Yeah, the dating scene is crazy. It's just a lot of bullshit you got to deal with when you're dealing with a bunch of people who aren't working on themselves, or if people just have different philosophies in life, and if you don't fully know what yours is, it's easy to muddy your waters, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll fall under the influence from someone else's.
Right, and it could be something that you're totally not for. Your morals it doesn't line up with your morals, your integrity, or whatever. So that's why I'm just trying to take time for myself to become that solid individual before I can invite anyone to add into my life, not be my life.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, when people say you're my life, that's a lot of pressure because
it is.
You're an individual.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Individuals fuck up.
yeah, because I've had the back and forth with me saying that to people and people saying that to me, and obviously it hasn't worked out, so maybe let me try this method real quick.
But be single and take care of yourself before it becomes...
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty solid adult and responsible way to do things.
Trying to be.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who are like listening to this who are under the age of 20 or 18...
They aren't your life.
And we're in a perpetual state of trying to figure shit out. The fact is we're never really going to have things figured out. It's just like, we're going to try this thing today.
Right.
Kind of go with it.
Yeah. Life is a bunch of experimenting.
Yeah. And if sometimes it works out for a very long time, sometimes it doesn't.
And even say you get in a relationship and it's like 5 years down the line, you two might have grown to be two different individuals. That's life.
And I think that's a reality you've got to accept.
Yeah, if something ends, don't put all your value into that relationship, into that person. Like, your value is still with yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, so we're going to start wrapping up. I'm going to be throwing some rapid fire questions at you off the top of my head.
Okay.
You ready? Ready?
Maybe. This part makes me nervous. Okay, go for it. Anxiety.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Teal.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good color. What would you do with $1 million?
I would pay off my entire family's student loan debt so that we can all live our happiest life and not be drowning in that shit. And then I would, I don't know where I'm going to go from there because that's such a vital thing right now.
Same with everyone in this country.
Yeah, student loan debt, just so that we could actually build our life and not stay trying to survive and float. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be out of the water.
What's your favorite snack or midnight snack?
Midnight
snack?
That's a difference. Am I in a salty vibe or a sweet vibe?
Ooh, that's up to you.
Ooh, fuck. I am such a snacker. The pressure. I'm just gonna go with Oreos. How was that not even my first thought? Oreos and milk. Ooh, when you dip that shit.
Yeah. It gets a little slightly soggy.
Cookies and cream is my blood, actually.
That's right. Cut it up right now.
Right. Just Hershey's cookies and cream coming out.
All right. So, what's your current favorite song to work out to?
Song to work out to. I'm such a Gemini. It depends on what mood I'm in. Currently, it's "Dream On" by Aerosmith.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna add that to my playlist now.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
What would you say to this isn't a rapid fire question, but what would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Oh, baby. I would give her a hug. God. 16-year-old Meghan was going through a lot of shit. I would just really remind her that everything is going to be okay. That I would, like we've been saying for the past hour and a half, that her value has nothing to do with other people. That her value has nothing to do with the men she's dating or just to value herself, and to I would really want to go back and tell her all the things that she really had to offer, and not to let anyone dim her shine, because I was going through a lot of friend issues, family issues, all that kind of stuff, and I let it really affect me and what I had to offer. So there's so many things I would say to 16-year-old Megan, but also sorry for doing all the things that I did when I was 16. But
sorry, like, were you like also a rebel?
I was a rebel. But we all have that teenage shit where we don't necessarily know where we're going and how we're going to handle life.
What would your 80-year-old self say to you now?
The same shit I would say to 16-year-old Megan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's so interesting that you brought this question up, because I just did a guided meditation where basically you go into this forest and then you end up seeing your like child self, and I ended up seeing like 4 or 5-year-old me and your 80-year-old self. And basically like trying to integrate all of these people into one.
That's a good meditation right there.
I was bawling by the end of this meditation because it was just so powerful. Like I had never really done anything like that before.
You found this on YouTube?
Yeah, I'll try to
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Guided meditation.
Yo, YouTube be having everything. Right, exactly. But I'll send you that meditation because that was actually a really powerful one. But 80-year-old self would probably tell me that everything is going to be okay and your life is going to be beautiful just the way it's supposed to be. And just to continue to love myself and others just as much as I always have, and to not let other people affect what I have to give.
That's cool. Yeah, I got that question from like one of the seminars I was at, and it like tripped me out because like more often than not, the 80-year-old version of ourselves is the advice we need to actually listen to. So, and I love that asking that question, because it's kind of like you already have the answer.
Yeah.
You just have to frame it in a certain way where it would make sense.
And also just to live your life to the best capacity that you can, because for me, I hold back on a lot of things that I want to do with my life because I want to please others, or I'll get so in my head like, well, what if they think this and this, and if I want to do this? Like, you have to live with yourself till you're 80. What would you want to, like, don't be a bad person. Don't like go and murder people. You're going to have a lot of regrets if you don't go with what it is that you want to be doing, you know?
Yeah, because by the time you're on your deathbed, it's too late to try to take that chance.
Exactly, and you got to live your life and with like sprinkles of other people in your life, but don't completely make your life somebody else's life and then sprinkles of yourself in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I've learned in the past couple years. So.
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about this beforehand.
Yeah, we were. I was just kind of bringing that back in.
The 3 most influential people in your life.
My mom.
She's beast. I want to meet her.
Yeah. I'll definitely ask her to.
She's down for the podcast. I'll even drive to where she live. She lives in Westwood.
No, she lives in Rancho Cucamonga now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. So she ended up moving back there. She works in Pomona. IE 909. Represent. Sorry, I just totally kicked your knee.
It's all good.
2 more influential. 2 more influential people. I really wish I came with this answer prepared, because I feel like I know so many influential people and so many great people that have influenced the way I am now that it's hard to narrow it down. I will say one of my best friends, Sarah. If you follow me on Instagram, she's a girl I'll be twerking with all the time. But she's actually just she's such a dope individual. She's a little bit older than me, so she has more years of experience for me to really observe and learn from, but we're very similar. And she's very much about empowering yourself and healing your trauma and healing your wounds and, you know, becoming that best person you can be. So a lot of who I am now has been from hanging out with her and to really observe. She's a dope businesswoman. She she's self-employed. She has all these different businesses going for her. Like, she's a really dope individual. So if you want someone to interview, she'd be a great one to.
Her next.
Yeah, I'll give you her Instagram.
Just give me your whole entire contact list.
Right, exactly.
Start texting her.
No, because you're an accumulation of the top 5 people you surround yourself with, and I'm so honored and like glad that she's in my top 5 because she is a dope individual. And let's see. More on a silly note, probably, I mean, ever since I was 12, Hillary Duff, man.
Oh, Hillary
like,
Duff.
if you notice, like, she never gets into, like, drama or anything like that. She's just on her shit. She's just been doing her business. She's never gone, like, crazy or anything. Like, she's just been a solid, level-headed individual, and that's kind of, like, how I respect her a lot, and that's kind of how I would want my career to go, just constantly doing my thing, constantly working. She has a family. She's happy doing what she's doing, and she's happy living her life. And that's how I want to live my life too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a random one, but you know.
she's a businesswoman in herself.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's like done a lot for herself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's a whole reboot happening. So
I'm saying. If you need a body double or if you need someone to play your cousin, shout out to Hillary Duff.
At her.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to go with the last question.
Okay.
What do you want people to say about you when you're gone?
That she just loved unconditionally. I would love for people to say that I taught them how to love, or just how to... love is just such a big thing for me because that's just the essence of everything that I want to be doing, you know?
It should be the essence of everything.
Right, exactly. So definitely that, because, you know, people aren't going to say at your funeral, like, oh, she danced for, you know, Lady Gaga or whatever. Like, people aren't going to be saying that at your funeral. People are going to say how you made them feel, and that is the most important thing, is just making sure everybody feels valued and feels loved. So that's what I want people to remember me for.
God, that's so good. That's so good, because that's what I say a lot when I do my in the car talks for Instagram. Because your accolades are not going to be giving your eulogy. Like, your accomplishments aren't going to be up there. It's the people who you affect.
Exactly.
And it's like, you know, and then I share, like, there's 2 ways you can make it to be successful. Either you can do it by tearing other people down in the process, or finding a way to continue giving no matter what.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is I want people to also remember that even though I've gone through struggles in my life, that I never gave up.
I think I love those stories, like the stories where, like, they're fucking like those Rocky-esque type of stories, or Creed. Now that he's taking the mantle, like, they get their asses handed to them. Yeah. And then you get up, you fucking spit out a tooth. It's like, let's fucking go.
Yep, that's exactly what I want people to remember me for. Spitting out those teeth and just going.
Yeah. All right, cool. So where can people find you online, stalk you, and stuff?
Well, on Instagram, you can follow me at Meghan, Meghan, period, Magoun, Magoun. I should be going this way, right? Yeah. A minute of that. And then on YouTube, you can just search my name, Meghan Magoun. And I don't have very many videos, but Megan's Menu is definitely building up my YouTube account. I have my first carnival piece. It's not that big of a, like, it's
not that big of a deal.
Like, no, I'm saying my YouTube page isn't that big of a deal because I have not been uploading content. But do check out my carnival piece, because that's something I'm really proud of. All my dancers worked really hard.
Was that recent?
It was in November.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was To Sweet Disposition.
Damn.
It was such a good song. But yeah, that's my YouTube. That's my Instagram. I don't have a Facebook because my shit got hacked a while ago.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I'll see you on Instagram.
All right, cool. Yeah. So everything's going to be in the links down below in the description. Make sure you give her a like, show her some love, give her some support. Yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share this with friends who you think might benefit from it. And I appreciate you for listening or watching Emeroy TV. This is the Move, Groove, Grow podcast. Love you guys. Have an amazing day, night, evening, life, decade, and so forth. Love you guys. Peace.